lecture, and it might be an intermediate or it might be even an advanced only lecture, but it's something I've noticed, and I talk to a lot of people, and the biggest difference between people who really kill it and really like break out the matrix, really start making real serious money, and the people who don't, is that there's always going to be this level to where you make enough money that you're happy, like happy enough. Like you make, let's say, I don't know, $10,000 a month, right? A lot of people would be very happy with $10,000 a month, or maybe even $20,000 a month. There's some level of money where you start to be like, okay, I make the amount of money I want to make. Now I just want to automate this, and I want to find a way to make it so that I can make this exact same amount of money without using any of my time. And this happens a lot of the time. Winning makes so many people lazy. Winning makes so many people not want to work. The biggest difference between guys like Elon Musk and Tate and Jeff Bezos and all these really big players and the people who just kind of no one knows who they are and maybe they make $10,000, $20,000. The real truth is there's no such thing as staying stagnant. That's the real truth. The truth is that there's no such thing as staying stagnant. So these people who, let's say they make $10,000 or $20,000 a month, and then they try to somehow make it so it takes less of their time. They try and automate the process. The truth is that it's going to make it so that eventually they'll start declining how much money they make. Eventually it's going to be like, okay, well, instead of $20,000, now they make $16,000. Okay, now instead of $16,000, now they make $12,000. They're going to notice that they can't keep up, because the truth of the world is that the competition continues to get better. It's evolution, and everything is a competition. The guys who dominate are the guys who are always growing, and they're always growing because they don't work just to reach X amount of money and then they want to go vacation and club and do a bunch of dumb shit. No. Like the guys like Elon, they work because they want to work. They want to conquer something. That is their expression. That's their art. It's their sport. It's what they do. It's their profession. Like I can't imagine waking up not working. And I could never work for the rest of my life if I wanted to, no problem. But I just can't imagine. What would I do with my time? I don't know what else I'd do. There's nothing else to do. I don't know what people do with their time. And obviously people call me a bit of an anomaly. I'm called a workhorse, a machine, things like that. But I really do believe it's the big difference between the guys who really make it in life and really start making some sort of an empire and the guys who kind of squander it. Like they went through the hardest bit, which is to go from 0 to 20. And then they kind of just let their sword start to get rusty. They let their brain drift on things that didn't get them to where they are. They started changing who they are a little bit. Or I wouldn't say changing who they are, but certainly having as much money as you need in life really shows you who you really are. And a lot of people aren't really super like work dedicated. They're not workhorses. They're not proud of their craft. They're not like thinking like, how can I push the boundaries? How can I go even more? How can I invent something, right? That's all it is. Business is so much is about inventing things. It's like when a physicist discovers some new theorem. Like he does that out of joy. It's not because he gets the cash prize from getting the Nobel Peace Prize or whatever those prizes are. They're not doing it for the cash. Like they're doing it because there's nothing else to do. They can't imagine doing anything other than trying to push the boundaries of human understanding. There's some of you guys who are trying to build empires. I love to see it. I really do. I see what you guys are doing and I'm very proud of it. But there's also a lot of you guys who you're doing well. I'm not gonna say you're doing badly. I can tell you are no longer spending all your effort trying to expand. You're now trying to spend your effort to make it take as little of your time as possible. And I don't know what you do in your spare time. Usually most men, they fall into these three things. And these are the three things that I think are the biggest hurdles most guys have. One is women. A lot of guys, when they start making 10, 20K, they start thinking, okay, well, I need to find a girl now, blah, blah. And that's a natural thing. But a lot of guys get lost in that sauce. Their empire starts to crumble. Their mind's off the ball, right? Their mind is purely based off of how do I get a chick? So they're spending all this money in the club. They're doing all this dumb shit just to try and get a girl to just like them. And it's loads of time. And they don't realize that what I've just noticed in general is that if you build the empire in general, girls are going to start to come to you much more than you need to go and try and, oh, let me go to the club, do this bottle show and let me do this and that. And how am I going to go? So I've noticed a lot of guys fall down that spiral, the girl spiral. Another one's the drug spiral. I don't think any of you guys will really fall down that one. And last one's usually video games or some sort of TV, some sort of dumb shit. You get successful and you start saying that, okay, I have time to do this now. Like, cool, I've worked so hard. Now let me go play that video game I've always wanted to play, right? Just something for you guys who are intermediate, and probably this applies mainly towards guys who are near advanced or quite high level advanced. The guys who have graduated, I think you guys are much more likely to sit back and be like, cool, I've made it now. I've done the hard bit. Now it's just about how do I automate it? Okay, well, let me do this because this is easy. This is quick. Like you guys are trying to free your time. But the difference between the champions and the not champions is champions, when they decide that they want to free their time, it's so that they can use the time that they freed to expand the empire even further. Where, let's say, most people, normal people, once they've gotten to that level to where they're very happy with their monetary income, they're just trying to free their time so that they can do things that they truly enjoy. And that might be, I don't know, some sort of sport all the time. But even then, the reason I don't bring sports up is unless you want to become literally a pro athlete in your sport, it's probably not going to take that much of your time. And I recommend everyone try and get better at a sport. But usually it's, again, video games, girls, or drugs. That's usually it. Those are the three pitfalls that people start to fall into once you reach some level of money. So just my advice is try and avoid those pitfalls. And the biggest problem you guys will have if you guys are trying to fall down those pitfalls and you guys are in the mentality of, okay, I make this amount of money. Now, how do I make it so that I have to work less and make the same amount of money? The problem is that you're going to find is you're going going to get surpassed because the world is ever changing. The world is ever evolving. The world is constantly getting harder to keep up. You need to constantly be thinking about how do you push it to the next level because there's no such thing as staying the same. You're either growing or you're dying. And what I've noticed with a lot of top guys is they get to this point, they try to make everything easy mode so that they can go do the club or they can go travel the world or they can do whatever they want. And they don't want to work anymore. And then they start to fall down. And at a certain level of fall down, you can't even afford what you wanted to do, what you were getting adjusted to and wanted to do in life. And then they usually have a wake up call. Then they have to panic and try and get back up. And it's just going to be that spiral their entire life until they kind of break the cycle and kind of break what they enjoy. Like once you enjoy work, once you enjoy expanding your empire will ever be expanding. And I think it's really a beautiful life to enjoy doing the work you do. I really truly believe I could enjoy breaking rocks if I decided to. It's something you can kind of decide, and you can kind of decide that, okay, I want to become the best at this game. I understand this game. Clearly, you guys all do. If you're one of these top level guys, you clearly understand the game somewhat. You just kind of decided that you don't want to keep getting better, or you think you can't get better, which both of those are kind of the same thing. Because I promise you, even me, there's loads of better things we can do. There's loads I can still learn. And look, there might not be a teacher who can teach me what I need to learn because I might be at the forefront of the game, but that's on me to expand that forefront, right? Like there's a level in physics, there's a level in math where no one can tell you new things you have to learn. You've learned everything now. Now you invent things. And I think that's so much more of a fun angle. I find it so much more of a fulfilling spot to be when there's no one else who can tell you kind of like, yeah, you can learn from people always, but there's no one who could say, yeah, do this. Because no, it's like you're in your own game and you really have to figure it out. So just a tip for all of you guys, intermediate, advanced guys. And for those of you guys, maybe I'll expand this to every single student, just let all the students listen to this. And just, it's a problem you guys will come to when you're making that $10,000 or maybe that $20,000 a month. Hopefully you'll remember this lecture and remember kind of why most people don't stay on the top. It's usually they fall down one of those 3 pitfalls and they try and free up their time instead of trying to expand their empire.